Our next email comes from Johnny in the UK. He says, love the show. I hope Jared's Dance of Joy now becomes a world woed meme.
But I couldn't get you to do it in the last episode, right?
Well, got him to do it right here.
Now we can't get him to stop.
Yeah. Johnny UK says, I saw the IGN article about BioWare asking fans if they'd like a tactics-style Dragon Age game. Did you guys see this? The creative director on Dragon Age just tweeted out, if we made a Dragon Age tactics-style game, would you guys be interested in it?
Okay, so if I remember right, didn't Origins launch with a web-based tactics game?
There were a few spin-off games that appeared on the web. There was one that was sort of a story-driven, almost like a choose-your-own-adventure book.
Right.
There was one, they had a Facebook game that had a hexagon grid that had a tactics game.
That's what I'm thinking about,
game.
yeah. It was actually pretty good, if I remember right.
It was good.
So yes, I love this idea.
Sure. I love tactics games, Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem, those types of games. So
Front Mission?
Front Mission, for sure. Another game that could maybe be brought back.
Disgaea?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say
The one
that
thing
for a
about
little
Dragon
later,
Age is
but
that
yes.
we do have a lot of fantasy-based tactics games, and I don't know if
wouldn't
that'd
say
be my
we're
first choice.
we're not like drowning in them.
Yeah,
Like
but
there's
not
Fire
really
Emblem
like
right now.
XCOM's like
Everyone
a big
I play has
franchise.
dragons in it and swords.
He says it's an interesting idea. I'm sure they can make it work. He says it reminded me of something I've been discussing with friends for a while. How great would a Mass Effect game using the XCOM system be?
Yeah.
All the skills, classes, biotics would lend themselves perfectly to the style.
Yeah.
I was wondering what well-known games you guys would like to see explored in different game systems.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of stuff like that. They made I don't remember if it was a Flash game or it came out on DS or something, but they made a 2D Mirror's Edge. That was really good. No, it came out on mobile.
Yeah.
And it was really good. Like, it was great.
Classic examples include Puzzle Quest. It's a great marriage of different genres. Nintendo does this all the time with like Mario Kart and Smash Brothers.
Somebody made this very clever Team Fortress remake that was
the
2D called Gang Garrison a while ago, and that was pretty wonderful. It actually worked. I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love remakes.
So one of the ones that I think of, and I think this has come up in other IGN programs, is I'd love to play a Marvel Universe-based tactics game. Like a
Marvel
Final Fantasy
Universe.
Tactics. I don't want it to look modern. I want it to have little sprites.
You have each character is an individual hero or villain, and they have their own abilities.
Exactly. Team superhero battles
really good.
kind of fit perfectly into that squad versus squad setting. And you mentioned, Freedom Force versus...
Pokemon Conquest was a Pokemon tactics game, and it's really good.
Yeah, and there's
What system is that on?
DS.
I never played that one.
It's so fun. And, like, you have to use just like Fire Emblem with the weapon triangle, you have to use people's abilities or Pokemon's abilities against each other.
That sounds really good.
I like a Pokemon, big, beautiful open world console game.
I mean,
really good.
just like any genre bending in general, like I'm a big fan of. The game I've brought it up on GameScoop before, but the much maligned Shadowrun first-person shooter for the Xbox 360. Was a great game, but it just wasn't what people wanted at Shadowrun, and so it caught, it just never, it was sort of a doomed from the moment it launched.
That game was actually, looking back, ahead of its time.
Way ahead of its time.
A multiplayer-only game in 2007.
Very class interdependent, with all these unique, crazy classes. I mean, it was a hero shooter before that, term had been coined. I'm a big fan of, Johnny said, tactics versions of games. I mean, I'll play a tactics version of almost anything.
Yeah.
Like BioShock,
One that occurred to me was
BioShock would be cool.
Resident Evil Tactics.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So
It just flows off the tongue.
You have your arenas, and there's two win conditions. You can either escape, so you're like surrounded by zombies. You can either escape or kill all the zombies.
Good idea.
If a member of your party gets eaten, they turn into one of the zombies, and it's all playing out turn-based. That sounds awesome.
There was Doom RPG was really good.
Was.
I played that on mobile, and it was great.
Yeah, I played it on DS. I think it was.
Yeah,
good.
what's the stop and go puzzle game that everybody's playing right now?
Stop and go puzzle game.
Yeah, you throw guns at dudes and you get their guns and shoot.
Super Hot?
Super Hot reminds me of Doom RPG in the tiniest way because of that turn-by-turn thing, the way your character moves.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
What about a 2D Metroidvania style Shadow of the Colossus?
Yes.
So you're exploring maps and stuff, but then you get to the boss and you have to platform up to the top of the boss to stab it in the head.
Yeah, so the boss gives you some ability that you can use to reach a previously unreachable area.
Yeah, and you can kind of see the boss in the distance, lumbering around sometimes, and you have to get your Metroidvania over there.
I want a Mario game that goes back to the Mario 2 mechanics. very badly.
A Mario Maker.
No, a Mario game where you go
Mario
back,
game.
or a Mario Maker mode. That'd be even better, but where you could make
So you want
everything
Galaxy, but with turnips.
so you can hop on things' heads and
pick 'em
build
up.
on that and pick
Can't
them
you
up.
do that
Yeah. No, that's
Is that the only Mario game you can do that in?
Yeah,
Well, you
Mario
can pick
two.
up turtle shells in a lot of games.
but there's no.
They should make Super Mario Brothers 2 2.
Yes, that's what I want.
I wouldn't put it past Nintendo.
Klonoa.
It would be,
Kinda
it would be
feels like
Super
that.
Mario Advance 5, Super Mario
Yeah.
2 2.
I have a couple more to run by you guys. How about Burnout Kart?
Yeah.
Yep.
A
Okay.
Burnout Kart racer that uses the crash mechanics.
Yep. I believe that.
You're on board with that one?
Yep.
I don't know about Justin. Justin's.
I just
doesn't
want
seem
a burnout game where you
I
do the
know.
puzzle stuff.
I mean, my
and
immediate thought was that Burnout's already pretty arcadey, but like to even amp that up,
Yeah.
could be cool.
Here's the one that I really, really like, though, and that as soon as I thought of it, I was really mad that it doesn't exist and I can't play it. A Mario platformer roguelike, like Rogue Legacy,
Yeah.
where you go into randomly generated Bowser's castles, and the castle is like very like complex and intricate, and you make it as far as you can. But then when you die, you keep all the coins you collected, so you can upgrade your abilities, spend the coins to upgrade your abilities, go back into a new randomly generated castle. You make it a little bit farther each time.
That's the logical progression of Mario Maker.
I really like that idea.
roguelike
I
Mario.
want
A
to
Mario platformer roguelike.
They
I'm
could do
also
stuff
gonna-
like that as an endless runner. They had Yoshi's. It's this weird DS launch game called Yoshi's Touch and Go that I think about all the time, actually, because I really
All
loved
you do,
it.
you fall for a while, and
Yeah,
then
you
you move
fall
to the
for a
right
while,
for a while,
and
and it starts over. It's an arcade game, basically.
It's a great use of the stylus where Yoshi's walking on his own and you have to draw paths for him and like stun enemies.
They did a
and
lot
do
of stuff. They
things
did
like
Kirby
that.
games like that.
Yeah.
Miranda and Callie have this idea for a dating sim starring video game characters. So like you can, it's like the high school thing, but you're in high school with like Master Chief.
Yeah, video game high school.
Yeah, like and you're just, it's a dating sim. So you have all the archetypes, but they're all based on characters from other games.
That sounds good.
It's great.
I think that'd be fun.
Would play. All right,
Would
now
play.
let's get these things greenlit.